that. Yeah. Okay, so this is your opportunity to ask questions of the spirit guides and angelic forces, energies that came through during our meditations and channelings. And if you would indicate if there's a particular person that you'd like to ask your question to, or if it's just a general question, that would be fine. So we'll give everybody a minute, and then we are open for questions. You're just going to take a minute to go into trance. Probably others are as well.
Let's all bring you back energetically to the last moments when you were sitting in your chair. Bringing back in all that you had heard, seen, felt, experienced, all the energies, all the words, all the pieces. You're back and your tummies are now happy and you've socialized. And you're back in the room. And what are the questions of your heart? What are burning questions? You have access to the divine and all the aspects and nuances of the divine. So what do you want to know?
Well, I just want to say that I'm so grateful with all my heart to the council, this entire blessed circle of light that's here. And I've been studying a little bit about the Gialuco because I wanted to know more about the Gialuco. And I think it was Sylvia Brown's book, she mentioned the Saraka realm, and I think she said that there's singing. And so I wanted to ask Scordia if she sings, because I love to sing. And I always wondered if I was part of the celestial realm, because I sing and dancing makes me happiest. And laughing.
And good evening to you, Meryl. This is now Scordia speaking to this channeler. And give us a moment as I warm up her vocal cords so that she can speak better. But yes, indeed, we're known to be singing Holy, 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 and all of the other chants that are assigned to the different angelic levels. Of course, singing and dancing are expressions of joy, as you understand it within physical terms. But we have our own way of singing and dancing too, that represents our joy and our devotion to the divine, to all that is, to God, Goddess, all that is. So once you connect to that joy, you naturally want to sing and dance, do you not? And so we encourage then all of you to connect more and more to your joy, to that which gives you joy, and and that which gives you pleasures, for that will naturally move you into the expressions of creativity, such as singing and such as dancing. Those are natural expressions of joy.
Thank you, Scordia. I also would like to know the name of my guardian angel, because he works overtime with me, and I'm so grateful for that.
Let's see if we can tune in to that. We're getting different names at different times. We see a Tom, we see a Marilla, we see several different angels associated with you who you would call your guardian angels, but we would say that the Tom is a name that comes out, that comes forward.
Thank you. It's a full-time job, so I understand why it's full-time.
Indeed. As we have a full-time job doing what we do here for you on the human plane.
Thank you.
Yes,
A while back at the Circle of Miracles, a couple of the highly intuitive people got a impression that the years 2014 to 2017 for the conventional collective would be difficult. And Candace, who's an angelic communicator, said that, or was it Cheryl Blumenthal, I'm not sure which one it was, said that it was kind of a final cleansing of like rusted water that came out of the pipe. I would like to get a little bit more clarity on the impressions of the probability lines of 2014 to 2017 from the group as to how things might flow on two levels. One, for the collective, do we have to kind of gird our loins a little bit and deal with a little bit more some of the difficulties as things clear out? And also, how is 2014 and beyond affecting us personally? Because I'm getting converse messages. The 2014 on the personal level is opportunity for really opening up more and more. And so I'm just seeing if there's some form of clarification. Everybody's not always right in what they say, what they pick up, or how they communicate it. So I thought I would just ask that question.
Okay. Who would like to respond?
It's directed at any one of the three that has any sense of.
I will say a few words. It's important, there's an urgency to attune to your higher vibration. There's an urgency that I strongly call forth for you to connect with your divine self, your divine source, to tap into your truth so that you can claim your full power and your full essence. There are forces that do not want you to be in your power, that do not want you to be fully your God self. And it is crucial for you to connect with that which is your higher self, your heart, your divine being, your divine consciousness, so that you can find your connection and retain and maintain your connection. There are many frequencies that are going on on this planet to distract you from that and to pull you into other patterns and programs and frequencies. So the gatherings like this, spiritual gatherings like this, are such to help to remind you of your connection with the Source, so you will remember who you are in truth. And as you stay connected to that, you will not fall prey to those forces out there, so to speak, that wish to take your power, to pull your power. And as you move into that vibration, it is a collective vibration that will build as more and more of you continue to reach that critical mass. It is building. And there are times you will be pulled away from that, and you will lose sight and lose perspective. But yet I ask you, and I beseech you, come back to self, come back to your heart. And so the vibration, there are potential, there are probabilities, yes. And as you continue to strengthen and stay attuned to that frequency using the tools that are available to you, many tools are available to you to connect with your Source, then 2014 will be a year of much greater opening to Source energy. That I can tell you is a very good possibility.
Yes,
This is an add-on, and what we would like to remind you guys of, or perhaps ask you to change the language and the perspective around, is the seeking of the one truth. no matter who you go to see, no matter what answer is given, we as humans tend to go, well, that one was true, that one was not true, and then there's conflicting truth. The piece is that they are all segments of the truth, and you will experience what it is that you need to hear that is relevant in that moment for you to dissolve and harmonize the hangnails of density that are still surrounding your energy. So moving into 2014 is as much an addition and an and a perspective change. And perspective changes come from raised vibration and from a willingness to be willing to play from the heart. That allows you then to know within what is true for you and what is possible. The individual journey of the coming years will vary by the individual depending on why they are here, what is still left to be moved through in service to the cosmos, the earth, the collective, the being itself. And so each person's journey in any given moment may appear to be one thing or another, because actually we don't even want to go to a place of right or wrong or good or bad. There's an additional request to open your heart to embrace all that is. To change the perspective that something is happening to me, or that this is really awful, or this is really good, and simply embrace it for what it is, an energy, a tool, a role that is helping you as a soul and helping other souls. The possibilities for all of us are opening wide, and probably the best indicator of what our experiences will look like is how willing we are to embrace the gifts and the pieces that are before us, as well as embracing our own value and our own worth. The higher percentage that we can get in embracing our worth, our value, and our self-respect, really anchoring the energies of who we are and building toward 100% certainty. From that energetic higher perspective added on to what has already been offered, you will find yourself in a place that when life happens, you're less reactive or you're more calm, until finally it doesn't matter and it really just is a hangnail, and you are free and clear to choose differently, because your vibration is different and your vibration is different. That gives you the portal to be able to choose. So in some ways, like never before, you have the ability to really choose, where before it was chosen for us by contracts and mandates.
Yes.
I have a question, and I'm not sure for whom, I guess to you guys in general. In the past, when I have opened myself to a path that I thought was true, I've been fooled. I've been fooled. And I've had a very strong sense previously when I chose a path that wasn't the right path, but I did it anyway. And when it turned out, I was not fooled because I knew from the beginning. But then there are times more recently when I was fooled. How do I know that it's the time to open my heart, to be vulnerable, to trust, to know with certainty all of these things which you say I should have in order to get them? How do I know that I'm not being fooled again?
This is Escordia now speaking to that question. The question is, can I trust myself? Can I trust my abilities to make discernments, to make evaluations, to understand what is true, what is false, what is right, and what is wrong? This is the human condition. This is what is part and parcel of everybody's experience here on the earth plane. That you are all challenged to come to a better understanding of your abilities to make discernments, to make choices, to evaluate and then make choices, to evaluate your choices and make choices again. You have chosen this opportunity in the realm of spiritual development to finely tune or hone in your own ability to make discernments. You could make the same kinds of discernments in relationships. You could say, oh, I thought I was in love with someone, but I was fooled. I wasn't. Or it changed and I think I'm no longer in love. Well, it's the same thing. You may have fallen in love with a technology or fallen in love with a philosophy and then became disillusioned and said, oh, well, I'm no longer in love with it. Maybe there was something wrong with it in the first place and I just didn't see. But you must say to yourself, there was a reason that I chose and evaluated and then chose again. And so not make it wrong to be wrong. As other masters have said, that it's perfectly human to be imperfect. And so you must embrace your imperfection as part of your being, as part of your perfection. You need to embrace the fact that you can make mistakes and make more mistakes and make more mistakes again. And still it will be okay. It is all okay. It is all part of being a human, to make mistakes and learn from them. And so, there is no ultimate right or wrong for you. There is only what's right for you in the moment. And hopefully that moment will extend itself to the next moment and to the next moment. What we see that you are seeking is continuity and stability, rather than consistency. However, consistency can occur through time, over time, when you become more comfortable with the inconsistencies. When you can finally say, I see a pattern here in my choices. And that is when you begin to see consistency. The patterns that you create for yourself in the way that you make choices. So to look at then the patterns is to look then at what are you believing in the moment when you made that choice? What did you believe about that spiritual philosophy in the moment when you made the choice to embrace it? And what was your belief over time when you said to yourself, this doesn't fit, this doesn't feel right, this is not truth? What was your belief then? And so you begin to see how your beliefs then can create your choices, which in turn create your experience. So this is a tried and true principle in that your beliefs help you create your reality. And in this case, you need to look at the beliefs that you've created and then maybe uncreated in your journey for understanding your spiritual truth. Do you understand what we're saying here?
Yes, thank you.
Indeed.
Anybody else? Yes.
I feel like I'm back on square one with like my life purpose and soul purpose and relationships and everything, health. Any insights? I'll just open it up. I don't know if you can answer personal things like that, but any insights?
This is Baba. And I will say to you that it is called a square dance. It is a square dance. A dance of squares, yes?
Square dance.
Sometimes it is a square, sometimes it is a circle, sometimes it is a spiral, Sometimes you go in, you go out, you go up, you go down. It is all around and around. And as you go through this permutation of self, you begin to experience the deepening of self. So it is about experiencing and letting go. See, if you hold on, you get white knuckles, and the blood rushes to your head. So I invite you to let go a little bit, release the control of the steering wheel, and let God drive the vehicle, please. Step back, get away from that front seat, please. Go into the passenger, and passenger should not direct the driver because you drive the driver crazy. So I invite you to release that madness that you have to try to be totally square all of the time. It will drive you crazy. The mind has the ability to drive you crazy. So to just simply let go of these conceptions that you have in your mind that you must be square. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So as you let go of that need to be a certain way, a certain kind of person, the truth will flow through you easily, effortlessly, and mindfully, as opposed to mindlessly through your heart. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. John?
My question is for Scoria particularly, but anyone on the panel. And good evening, Ms. Scoria. It's good to be with you. We have a friend of yours, Frank Bruno, who has a son who's 16 years old. And I asked not only for Nicholas, I asked for other people in the room who also may have children that are starting to become very psychic. Nicholas Bruno is becoming very psychic. He's picking up people's thoughts in his school. And he's a little frightened by it. And Amy and I have talked about how to possibly remedy this. Maybe he could take a psychic course. But we don't usually attract younger people to our gatherings here. But we know there are many children, 15 adolescents, that are experiencing impressions, events that are not supported by the conventional reality that we find ourselves in, at least in this country. So, and if any of you can address how parents in particular, could address these issues with young people who really are at a loss and stand back from the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Nicholas, like many other children, are here to also be teachers to their parents. That the dilemmas that they find themselves in are also the dilemmas that the parents need to address in themselves, or that the challenges that they find they have are also challenges that the parents should look at themselves. So that Nicholas, in a way, is showing his parents that they need to be more empathic with each other, more compassionate with each other, to be more in tune with each other's thoughts. Now, to say that Nicholas is totally a teacher for his parents is not saying is not giving the whole picture. That's part of it. But we'll say then that the children who are coming into the planet now are often little wise beings. They're ascended beings. They're beings who are still connected to their source self in the whole picture, so to speak, so that they are naturally engaged in what we'll call the psychic powers or the extrasensory perceptions, because that is part and parcel of the spirit itself. Your spirit, we're all psychic, we're all intuitive, we're all connected ultimately, so that the children just are more aware of that and are coming into the system now. And they will be the forerunners and forebears and the progenitors of the future race, in which it will become more and more psychic, more and more compassionate, more and more empathic, more and more heart-centered, more and more able to stand in their truth, as was mentioned by our other illustrious beings here on the panel, so that he is to be encouraged in his opportunity to express this ability. And so what was said before, and is still said by myself, is that he needs to be tutored and mentored and trained so that he can take hold of his ability and harness it for his own purposes. Now, of course, that may require him to look into his own soul and find out what is his purpose, why is he here, what is his reason for being, and so on, so that the opportunity here is for him to actually begin his own spiritual journey of remembering his reason for being here, remembering who he is. Now, this may take time, and he may not want to do this for many years, for some years ahead, so that he needs to just take baby steps in just becoming comfortable with his abilities, and that he may want to practice it with either other friends of like mind or his own family if they are willing to. And what we say here is that it would behoove Frank especially to be willing to engage with his son in simple sessions with him in practicing his psychic abilities, just so that he knows that his parents are comfortable with his situation as well. And that is all I'll say about that subject for now, and I'll let the others here on the panel make their comments as well.
Again, an and wrapped in. There was a piece, John, that you said that kind of struck me, us, all of us. People of his age don't normally come to this group. ... Then, how can groups be established to be where those that need it can find it? So, we're a little embarrassed, but okay. So, Amy, we apologize, but maybe there's an invitation for you to rally either yourself or people you know, set up a space other than under this umbrella, which has its own energetic history and signature. Set up something fresh and new. Welcome your own expertise to teach, and to teach in a way that is contemporary and fresh and now. So if somebody chose, they could get on board right now because the bridge was contemporary enough that they got it. Maybe there's a piece here with your own life changes that you could be with your own peeps as to what that could look like, and with the talents of marketing and PR, and the ability to listen to divine spirit and take inspired action steps, you might find yourself with a whole new livelihood where you have joy in being able to teach, plus those that are so hungry to know what it is that they know, and that knowing it is not only okay, but it's cool. And we want to wrap in, the Steve Jobs world of the Macs, the misfits, the crazy ones, the ones who don't fit in. Well, hello, that's what these kids are, but they need to know that they're the Steve Jobs of our futures. So play with that, and we back it with grace.
That brings our question and answer period to an end, and we're going to finish up with an energy transmission.
So you are invited to receive the energy transmission. All these beings that are here this evening, in front of you, around you, within you. And this will be a free-flowing energy transmission, channeling like a seamless wave between the beings up here. We'll chime in as Spirit moves us. And so, I invite you, my friends, to feel the connection to Source, to remember the heart, feel the love, the waves of love that are being presented to you this evening, to feel the waves of love moving towards you and through you. Breathe them in to your heart and allow them, these waves, these frequencies, to energetically attune you to your highest vibration. But you have a choice to tune up or tune down. So to tune up is to tune in, to experience the attunement of self. Enwonment of self.
This is Escordia speaking once again. To continue in that vein, I will also then send some energy, specific frequencies, now to aid and abet the visualization that was just mentioned of the waves of love coming to you. So I'm going to extend my hand out to this audience and begin to extend to you the frequencies of celestial love, joy, bliss, and ecstasy, as we call it. And so just imagine that you are feeling, again, the golden light also coming to you in waves, like the waves of the ocean rolling on the sand and the beach. Feeling these waves rolling over you and through you and around you, of the love, of joy, of bliss, and of ecstasy. And I shall accompany then this transmission with what I call our tonals or sounds that I emanate through this voice of the channeler to engage the frequencies of joy, of bliss, and of ecstasy. So allow me to say a few tonals at this time to aid and abet the visualization. Oh
Thank you.